In our first video, all we wanted to do was take the Blink sketch from Arduino's examples, built-in examples, and go ahead and load it into the Arduino Uno. And just to give you a feel for how does the Arduino sketches, how they work if it's your first time doing or using Arduino. So this time what we're going to do, we're actually going to take a look at the ESP8266 Wi-Fi module that we'll be using in our IoT labs. But I thought we'd just spend a few minutes looking at both the module and the Arduino Uno. So here you have the Arduino Uno, and down here along the bottom you're going to see power pins, analog in. So here in particular what we're interested in is the 3.3 volts and the ground. We're going to take those and run those to a breadboard and plug them into a just into one of the power rails. Up here we see our digital pins. You also have another ground up here. We're going to actually be using 2 and 3 for our transmission and reception coming from the Wi-Fi module. So let's scroll down a bit, take a look at that. So here's our 8266, and you see how all this is numbered. It's pretty straightforward. We've got 7's RX, 8's our voltage coming in. And again, you have to remember it's 3.3. Don't use the 5 volt. You're going to wind up frying the module. We've got reset. We've got the channel. Now this is, I just think of this as the control wire. And that also is going to go into the 3.3 voltage around what we're taking into the breadboard from the Arduino Uno, and then we have our ground and our transmission. So here's a little chart showing you how from the 8266 pins, transmission is going to go to the Arduino digital pin 2. That'll be our reception. Now our RX on the module will be our transmission on the Arduino 3. And then, of course, here VCC is going to be our 3.3 volts, our ground to our ground, and then again, let's just call it the control wire going to 3.3 as well. Now, let's take a look at the code we're going to use. And here we have HelloESP8266.ino. And here we're going to include the software serial header file. And I want to go back and show you quick where you can get on there the software serial library. You can go through, scroll down, see the functions. It says we're going through this. If there's anything that you're just not quite sure of what it does, or you want to get some examples, you can just go out to this page and poke around a bit. So in here we've got, we're going to declare a variable of software serial and call it ESP serial, and our reception pin will be 2, our transmission pin 3. We have our setup, and we also have our in here we're going to set our baud rate for both of these to be 9600. Then our loop, and in our loop, if the ESP serial is available, it means we've got some data. Let's write that to the serial monitor that we're going to do. And let's go ahead then, if there's something in the serial available from the monitor. So what we're typing in, we're going to go ahead and write that to the ESP serial. So let's go through and load this. So as it's going through and loading, and let me get in here and set up my camera for you. So what I want to show you as we're doing this is really just the module itself. So here I've got my sketch is done uploading. You don't see anything going on with the board because we're not blinking at this time. But I'm going to go to my serial monitor, and instead of you watching me type, I'm going to go ahead and start to put in, just copy and paste these commands in. So let's go back here, Control V, and let's send. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reset. And that's what I've done. I've reset the module. Now, we're going to go through here and let me show you a web page you can go to, NerdSpace, and if I scroll down here a bit, you can see what all these commands mean. So here's my AT commands. Click on that, and so here you go, restart the module. And so you want to keep this handy. And so now let's go into our next one. In here, we're going to go ahead and set the baud rate for our module. I'm going to go ahead and send that. And you see we got OK. Let's go through, let's set our mode to 1. And again, just go back to NerdSpace and take a look at what these all mean. And it's actually, first time going through, you're kind of, what does all this mean? But once you do it a few times, you're going to get a feel for it. Let's go through here. Now, what I'm going to do here, this is going to list all my Wi-Fi networks that are available. Because ultimately, what we're going to need to do, we need to join one. So it's going to take a moment to go through. And here, you're going to see at the bottom, that's going to be my hotspot. And so let's go through, let's join that. Control C, let's get in here. Control V, let's go ahead and send it. And you'll get a message, you're connected. We're on, we're okay, we're good. Now here, let's go, because what I want to get is I want to get my IP address. And I'll get back in here. And I'll go ahead and plug that in. And there you go. So now we got an IP address. And we are good. We're good to go. So as we go through and we progress through here now, we're going to go ahead and what we've just put in here in the serial monitor, we're going to go through and we'll just do programmatically. One thing hopefully you saw in the video is that every time we transmit, in fact, if I do here, I'm just going to put an AT for attention. If you take a look at the module, you're going to see a little blue light flicker. You'll see it real quick. But then okay, everything seems to be working pretty good. So our next ones now, we'll take these commands and we'll go ahead and enter it into a program.